Hey there, this is Vanessa Marshall, Hera Syndulla from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to the FSF podcast. Welcome.
The show that would like to remind you that the House of Skywalker won't ever govern Arrakis to control the flow of spice because of sand. And we all know how Anakin hates sand.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 141. She'll know that when she puts on the red shirt and joins the crew of the Ghost, that she didn't leave her family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has her back, and what's left of the ship's chain code.
All right, guys, our guest today is an amazing voice actor. And I know I say this a lot, that they have an awesome IMDb resume, but I honestly and truthfully 1000% mean it. Our guest today has one of the most impressive resumes I've seen in a long time, because there's not a sandbox that she hasn't played in.
You're just
She is
scrolling and scrolling and
I
scrolling.
sprained my finger. I swear I did. But she's Hera in Star Wars Rebels. She's Wonder Woman in DC's Harley Quinn. She's Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's Black Canary in Young Justice and Phantoms. And that's just to name a few. We're scratching the surface. That's like barely getting a couple of her major characters out of the way, just for the point of introduction. I can't even begin to tell you how proud we are to welcome Vanessa Marshall to the FSF podcast. Welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Vanessa, it was amazing for me to see how many different places I have heard your voice as I was scrolling through your IMDb resume. As I was perusing it, I was like, wow, okay, so she was in this and this and this, and some of the things I listed in the introduction, obviously. But one of the things we do on all of our interviews is that we like to get an origin story from our guests, because we're nerds and nerds love origin stories of their heroes, and you are the hero of this story. So um, now I know that you had parents in the entertainment industry, but how did you personally get started in the entertainment industry?
So that is a wonderful question. I grew up, as you said, in an entertainment family. My mom was an actress, or she still is, Joan Van Ark on Knots Landing in Dallas. And my father was a news reporter. And so I guess I got to see how hard my mom worked. And I also noticed that, as far as the on-camera world is concerned, there's a lot of focus on what you look like and the outsides and all, being thin and this and that. None of which was, it's just nothing I really cared about. I like to eat. And so I found my solace in books, in stories, comic books, in films, stuff like that. I was an only child, and Star Wars came along and just cracked open my heart. And I deeply cared about these characters, and it just took hold of me a long time ago. And so on sort of the meta spiritual level, that's sort of where Star Wars lands in my origin story. But outside of that, I was 10 years old when my mom was again doing Knots Landing, and they needed someone to play her as a young girl. And they asked me if I would do it, and I said yes. And I guess that's one of those stories of privilege or happy accidents. And I got my SAG card at a very young age. And I've told this story before, so forgive me if it's redundant, but the director told me he would give me a Big Mac if I cried. So the minute they called action, I was like, you know, and the whole set was like, she's an Academy Award-winning actress, and I was like, give me my Big Mac. And so it was, in all honesty, motivated by a desire for junk food, which of course my mom never provided. But having said that, so that sort of kicked that off. But at the heart of it, I love stories. I love telling them. I love facilitating the telling of stories, whether it's commercials, movies, animated series, of course, in the theater. I have a background in the theater as well. And I was also doing stand-up comedy, and I created a sketch comedy show with several characters in it, 13 characters total, I believe. And they all sort of interacted with each other, and I recorded footage of myself and had conversations with myself. voiceover agent said, you might actually do well in animation. And I said, really? And yes, okay, cool. And yeah, the rest is history. She ended up signing me. That was back in 1997. And it's just been a magic carpet ride ever since. And I really like the world of voiceover. Voiceover actors are so kind, supportive, not a lot of hater energy. I mean, I don't know what the on-camera world is like because I'm not a part of it, but from what I saw with my mom, it didn't look like a lot of women uplifting other women. It looked like a lot of women trying to like out plastic surgery each other. And that's not even a verb, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And that's not what we do in the world of voiceover. And those are my people, and I like it. And so I feel grateful to have landed in that sort of creative family. I found my tribe, and it's like a big clown car. We all just crack each other up and travel around and kind of go like, hey, it's a Cracker Barrel, let's go, whatever. We just like tumble around and have a great time together, and of course create fantastic content for fans in different fandoms.
So you mentioned that you were about 10 and of Star Wars. What incantation of Star Wars was it that really kind of set its hooks?
Well, the first film, from the very first moment, and Carrie Fisher was unlike any woman I'd ever seen. I mean, Princess Leia, when she says to get the walking carpet out of her way, I was like, I want her. Love her. And strangely, I very much related to, well, of course, Luke Skywalker. Everyone can relate to, that moment in the hero's journey when you're given the opportunity. Do you step up? Do you do the right thing? Do you, oh, I've got to do my converter, or do you take the path and take the journey? And I very much related to his relationship with his, father, as he so discovered, in the sense that it almost sometimes felt like the entertainment industry was sort of the dark side that took my mom away from me.
Okay.
And, he has the opportunity to let his anger get the best of him at the end of that movie, and he doesn't. And I think it's a very poetic story about the power of mercy, and he chooses to take a different path. And I feel like, that question, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?
Oh, sure.
When I saw Luke do the right thing, it inspired me to, not necessarily forgive my mom, because I did get a Big Mac, let's be honest. But it inspired me to see the bigger picture and the value in not taking personally my mom's bionic work ethic that kept her away from home, that made me feel unimportant.
Okay.
I think that's possible if you have a working mom and she's out there on her grind, and I'm on my grind today, and so like I really get it. I understand that it must be hard to balance things. I don't have any children, so I can't imagine having to do the kind of work day that I do, that sometimes goes till 11 o'clock at night, and then also worry about a small child. Like, I think my mom did the best she could, but anyway, Star Wars morphed to mean more and more and more to me as I grew as an adult and I faced my own hero's journey. But again, I think those themes are so universal, and those rites of passage are so universal that I think the first film grabbed me and it never let go. And with each subsequent, oh my God, I mean, the Clone Wars, dude, please. Just endless love for the Clone Wars. And
agreed.
Anyway, yeah.
No, it's a great answer.
That is a great answer.
It
and
really is.
thinking about the effect that Star Wars has had, and the effect that Star Wars has on everybody. I mean, because it's Star Wars. And like you said, from that opening moment, from that first like hit of the first chord of the theme song, and you like your chest gets
Yeah.
all tight. I know. I do it every time. I've
That and the
seen
crawl to
every
combine,
movie.
just
Oh my gosh, I've seen every movie
Yeah.
how many times, and it still gives me chills every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But we recently had a conversation with another Star Wars actress. We got to talk with Emily Swallow, so the
Oh,
beautiful
right.
woman
Yeah, I saw
behind
that.
the armor, which I love her character. But we
Yeah.
talked about how weird and awesome it is to have an action figure of yourself. Um, so with all of the roles that you've had and your beautiful collection behind you, do you have any action figures of your own characters?
I do. As a matter of fact, Olga from Metal Gear Solid is
Ooh.
one of the first characters, and I freaked out. The only thing is she has armpit hair. I shave my armpits, so you know,
minor technicality.
and a minor technicality, yes. And I think I emailed you guys that I'm putting together an event for Metal Gear Solid. I love that you guys have a charitable aspect to this show. I too, I'm built that way. But this event is for Metal Gear fans, and we're gonna try and raise some money for the Wounded Warrior Project.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and we're all coming together, all the voiceover actors from the game. So I might donate this and sign it.
Oh, so cool.
To
That'd be
raise
awesome.
for the event. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can part with this. But I'll do the best I can. But anyway, this was the first one that came out. Yeah, the cool thing about the event is that people will be able to be present at, live in person on July 15th, but also you can sign up and be there virtually. And I'm going to be playing on Twitch. I'm going to be playing Metal Gear Solid, and I think Peace Walker I play Dr. Strangelove. And so you'll be able to play the voice actors, they can yell at you as their characters.
Oh, that's
Oh my
cool.
gosh,
That's
is
cool.
so cool.
Yeah, so again, this pandemic just really made me want to commit to having fun, creating fun, and doing good.
Yeah.
And this particular event is the first of hopefully many, and I want to do it for different fandoms. But yeah, the opportunity presented itself, and I just thought, oh, for sure, I'm all over it. So anyway, so that ties into my first action figure.
That's so awesome.
Nice.
See, I love I both love and would be slightly weirded out by the idea of having an action figure of myself, but I think it'd be really cool. But also,
It is kind of
really
weird. Well, were you guys at Celebration in Chicago when Dave Filoni got his action figure?
No, we were not.
Oh my gosh, man. It was so funny. That picture. Let me see if I can find it. Someone made a Dave Filoni action figure, and it was just spot on with the shirt and the hat. Yeah, it was
Nice.
it was pretty intense. There it is. Okay. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
gosh, that is
Yeah.
so cool.
Look how
Right?
happy he looks.
I know. He really was. I mean,
That's
look
great.
at the little shoes. Look at the shoes.
Oh, that's
my
phenomenal.
Lord. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway.
one of my favorite pictures I've seen of somebody playing with their own action figure was actually of Jason Momoa playing with his Aquaman.
Oh yeah.
And he just and the same as Dave Filoni there. Jason looks just ridiculously happy. Like
Exactly.
I have me. Look at me.
Yeah.
So,
100%. Yeah. Well. Anyway.
So certainly a lot of your projects are really close to your heart. And as projects that are close to your heart, you definitely have a story or something related to those projects. Do you have any fun or entertaining stories of things that happened kind of like behind the scenes, like during like Rebels or something like that?
Well, there's the lovely time when Jason Isaacs came in to play the Inquisitor, and he opened up a closet in the vocal booth. We were like, what is he doing? And he's like, oh, he found a miniature golf set. He rolls out the green and he starts, hitting the golf balls in between lines, like he would say something playful to Freddie to destroy him. And then he would hit a golf ball. And Freddie was like, who is this guy? Freddie was like, this is not professional. He was just like, who is this? But it was so inquisitor to get under Freddie's skin and drive him up a wall. And we were all like, how is it that we've been here for how many seasons and we've never found the miniature golf set in the closet? But it takes this dude literally 5 minutes to like whoop, locate it and set
Walks
it
right
up
in.
and get a hole in one every time when he hit. I mean, it was just like, it was sublime. And yeah, that's a memorable moment. Trying to think some of the other backstories. I mean, whenever anyone was hungry, I was like, that's the thing, is that I was sort of the mom of the group, even though I don't have kids, but I could tell when they were hungry or low blood sugar or their stomachs were growling. And so I'd go get them snacks in the kitchen. You can't be hungry. Nope, not on my watch. But yeah. And we function as a family that way. And it was really cool to see how Freddie was sort of kind to Taylor in the same way as sort of a mentor where voice acting is concerned, because this was Taylor's first job. And and it really mirrored the plot of the show to some extent. And Tia and I are both football fans, so we were always talking about football. And as a Mandalorian, an artist, and a skilled fighter, it would just sort of it all tracked, and it all fell together. I think it was really genius casting that they knew that we would click like that.
Well, even you saying that, you were kind of the mom of the group, I'm like, well, that kind of fits with the show's story as well, because
100%.
with
Yeah.
Hera and the way that she was, over the kids, and not over the kids, but with the kids of the group. And,
Yeah.
as soon
For
as you
sure.
said that, I was like, well, of course you were. You were Hera, so you had to be. So
Space mom.
exactly. See, yeah, she gets
The sun.
And I'm
was
your space
so
mom.
happy. I'm so sorry about the sun ruining the.
not a problem.
You've got the
Because
sun. I've got my mom's cat over here. We're all good.
I like it. I like it.
it all
Cats are
works.
good.
Cats are good.
They are.
You're a good girl, aren't you? Yeah.
So Vanessa, you've been part of universes like Star Wars, Star Trek. You've been in Marvel animation. You've been in DC animation. Now, most actors feel lucky to dip their toe in one of those sandboxes, either live action or animation. But you've had opportunity to play in all these different sandboxes. Have you ever given any thought to a character or a universe's sandbox that you haven't gotten to play in yet that you would like to? Is there like the white whale out there that you're like, boy, if I could do this role, that would be really cool. Be a nice add to my resume.
Well, one area that I've not participated in is primetime. Well, I mean, I do ADR for The Simpsons. There's a group of us that we handle the background characters, but I would love to work on one of the Fox primetime shows. I've never been a part of those sort of more sketchy adult comedy shows. They're right up my alley. But that's one thing that just hasn't happened yet. And I look forward to it. Yeah, a lot of my friends are, on the whole animation domination stuff. And that's just one thing that hasn't happened yet, but you never know.
Oh, there's always time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe you guys know more about this, because I haven't looked at this. Just popped into my head and I haven't done the research on this. So this is a very off the wall question, but I know that like Futurama is supposed to be coming back. And if that does come back, I think you'd be a perfect fit in Futurama.
That's exactly the kind of show I'm talking about. Like D. Bradley Baker, I think he was in American Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of comedy is, I haven't had a chance. I mean, there was a show, Final Space, that I did that was pretty funny. That was for TBS, I think. Well, it was Adult Swim.
Okay.
But it wasn't necessarily Fox primetime, but it was still in that vein of kind of more adult and hilarious. Like Futurama is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a feather in my cap. I mean, a Marvel role that I would love to play that I haven't is Jean Grey.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
That-
Yeah.
Yeah, or Mara Jade in the Star Wars universe. But you asked about franchises I haven't been involved with. I've been obviously involved with.
I'm okay with both of those additions. We can do those. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Those would be fine.
awesome. Yeah, I mean,
as much
yeah.
groundswell as there is for someone to get into and do a take on Mara Jade, I think that would be amazing to have, especially if it comes through animation, to have it be done by somebody who's as qualified as you are and has the chutzpah to do it. You know.
Yeah. Oh,
I had to throw that word in there somewhere. I got it. Yeah.
So Vanessa, I know that you said that you don't have kids, but I do. I have a daughter who's going to be 5 this year, which is
cool.
Bizarre that she's going to be 5. Like,
that's awesome.
It kind of hurts a little bit to think about the fact that she's going to be 5. But
especially because I told somebody earlier today she was 3. So sorry, Anra.
No, she'll be 5 in September. But because of what she's seen on TV, she has no problem thinking that she wants to be a Jedi or a barbarian or a princess, or maybe a barbarian princess. I think that was an option the other day.
Brilliant.
Because those are all open to her, thanks to characters like Black Canary, Gamora, and Hera. And I think it's great because I grew up looking up to Princess Leia, not to Cinderella and Snow White, but Leia.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there wasn't a lot of those female heroes in the forefront when I was a kid, or even, I mean, in the last 10 years, it's been a bigger thing. So how do you feel about getting to be able to portray those characters and seeing the impact that they've had on these young girls?
I am so honored, deeply honored. And I see that impact when I talk to fathers who are finally able to get their Star Wars collection out of the garage and share it with their daughters. And, it's just such an honor to portray, sort of viable, iconic female roles that give young girls an opportunity. I mean, then there have been so many recently in Star Wars that are just delicious. And I applaud them for creating such strong characters. And I was so rewarded seeing little girls just get excited about the whole franchise as a result of it. And thinking about themselves differently and imagining themselves equally as powerful and encouraging them to own their power as well. It's beautiful to see, and it's lovely to experience in the moment. Yeah. I knew Hera was an amazing character, but to see all the cosplay, I've met so many amazing women who cosplay, and little girls too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really moving.
And it was, I know that one of the ones that got us recently was with the Obi-Wan series. My daughter's seen all of the movies except for episode 3, because that's a little bit too intense for her size.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't think my mother-in-law's seen that one even. Like, it might be too. It's intense for her too.
Okay,
but it's we haven't touched that aspect of the story yet.
Sure.
But watching Obi-Wan with her and explaining to her this is Princess Leia when she was little, and like the first portrayal, the first moment that she's on screen, my husband and I looked at that and looked at each other and did that's our daughter. I'm like 100%. It is.
Well, I hope she doesn't go run in the forest and get kidnapped and
I know.
Whatever. I mean, she has that fiercely independent spirit.
Yes. And there were a couple of lines. It's definitely an understatement. There were a couple of lines that Leia said that John and I just kind of snickered about with that would be our daughter. That would be, but then realizing wait, no, if that's our daughter, then that means our daughter also grows up to be Princess Leia and then General. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
That's some BA character there. But that has been one of the biggest things with the Young Jedi Adventures.
Yes, that too.
Just came out. She has watched all of them already. At least twice. She loves them. And she was telling her grandma today, she was showing her grandma, look at this Young Jedi Adventures. They made Star Wars just for me. And I'm like, Yeah, they did. Yes,
That's
they did.
so
They brought Star
cool.
Wars to your size.
That's so cool.
It's the best. It's the best. I'm so excited. And of
That's,
course now, like you said, you've met the fathers who got to pull their Star Wars collections out of the closets, out of the garages to share with their daughters. My
yeah.
husband has been with me. She's watching the Young Jedi Adventures and she's like, "So, can I learn to do that?" It's like parts of it, yes. She's got a lightsaber. He's like, "Yeah, we'll totally go out in the backyard and fight
So
lightsabers.
cool.
Let's do it."
Yeah. That's great.
I
That's
love it.
really great. Yeah.
So, if you had to pick two of your characters that you have portrayed, which two would you like to pick to work together in in either defending the galaxy or doing like a bank heist?
Um, that is a great question. It might be hilarious to see Hera and Rook cast
Okay.
come together. And now she's not necessarily Sith per se. I mean, I know Rook cast obviously was Darth Maul's minion, but she's also probably more like Boba or the Mandalorians, who are sort of for the highest bidder.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
so it kind of like Asajj Ventress. That's a storyline I would love to see more of, is Asajj,
Yeah.
but that's for another day. But it might be interesting to see sort of the intrinsic goodness of Hera come up against perhaps the opportunism and a little greed of Rookcast, and
Interesting.
Nice.
see how they work together. And it would also be easy to play both voices because they're so different. They
That's
could, I
cool.
could
Yeah.
easily portray them back and forth. They're located in different areas, and obviously Rookcast had a British accent. So anyway,
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. As far as Asajj is concerned, there's a stunt woman named Michelle C. Smith, and she does a lot of lightsaber tutorials on her YouTube page. She just did a fan film, a short film of Asajj and in a
It was
lightsaber
like 3
duel.
minutes or
wow,
something.
Well,
awesome.
there's a longer version of it on the it's like Ionia or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it,
Oh,
um, but yeah, there's a little bit longer version. I think it's like 5 or 6 minutes. It's not very long, but it's got some really good lightsaber action in it, and it's a fun watch. She's got the Asajj makeup on. She's got a hood up and everything. It's really cool. I too would like to see more of Asajj Ventress, and what happened to her after the split away from uh,
everyone.
yeah, Ahsoka. Sorry, my brain just went
Yes.
completely. I could see Ahsoka in my brain. I just couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't get the
That's a
name out.
similar vibe where Ahsoka is more sort of intrinsically good and Asajj is conflicted.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it'd be kind of a
Um,
cool story. I'd love to see what happened with Asajj after that, because
yeah,
in Clone Wars lore, in the series at least, it's kind of like there's nothing. It just kind of stops there, and life
right,
moved on. So
right.
I think that that's one of the things I love about Star Wars, is we have this big expansive universe where there's all these stories that we can tell that are separate from the movies and all these different things. So
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Oh, I have yet to read the book uh that came out, I think 2014, 15, with Quinlan Voss, and I can't take it. I can't do it.
yeah.
I can't read what befalls Asajj. I just can't.
Mm.
Yeah, I know it's not a good end, but I would like to. It was still, I would like to see it. I would like to see it played out. And
Oh, I want to see it right now, but
yeah.
I want to not have her die.
Oh, agreed, agreed.
Yeah.
I think she's one of the cooler villains. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Anyway.
as Nick mentioned, we've got a pretty large Facebook group, and we like to get them involved whenever we possibly can. So we've asked our Facebook followers and our Twitter followers to, if they had any questions for you about, and they all have some Hera Syndulla questions for you. So we've got a couple here
Excellent.
for you.
Sure. Happy to
Um,
answer.
our first one comes from Anna Squires. Anna is a good friend of ours, and she's also co-host of an amazing podcast called Growing Up Skywalker.
Oh,
They're doing it episodically. They're reviewing each episode as it goes. They're just finishing up Bad Batch. They finished off Clone Wars. They're moving through. She's never seen Star Wars. He's old school. So she's going through as a first time watch through and everything, and she's become this massive Star Wars fan. And
they're
it's
starting
super cool.
Obi-Wan soon.
Yeah, she's never seen it, so it's kind of fun. But here's her question for you. What quality of Hera's do you most admire and would you want to live out in your daily life?
her ability to focus and prioritize. What I appreciate about her is that she doesn't take anything personally. She is never petty. She plays the long game and somehow can override her humanity in all situations, or her twilectity. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we all struggle with self-centered fear. And I'm really impressed with her ability to absolutely focus on the task at hand and get everything done. Sometimes I get distracted by petty concerns and ask myself, well, what would Hera do? And Hera certainly wouldn't get wrapped up in any of that. It's not important. And sometimes it's hard to maintain that perspective. And maybe the isolation of the pandemic made it even more challenging, but I just admire her focus.
Okay, good answer.
So then we have a question from Sophie, who is LaughingSing3 on Twitter. She asks, besides our dear little war crime committing chopper, who is your favorite Star Wars droid?
Probably R2D2. Yeah, I mean,
Snitch. He is the loyalist of all of them.
The ultimate
he's
rider.
hilarious. He's hilarious.
He has been through some stuff.
He has.
If a robot could have PTSD, he would be.
He never had his memory wiped, and yet he is your ride or die. I totally agree.
Yeah, I love me some R2. And you know, my best friend, she got me the R2D2 thing that like runs around on your floor and this and that, and I'm like, for hours I can play with that.
Understood.
I have R2D2 earrings that I'm sad that I'm not wearing. But
I love the fact that, you know, R2 has never said a legible word that we can understand. It's all beeps and bops and boops, but you know exactly what he's saying.
100%.
You know,
always. Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny, as I was wearing my R2D2 earrings yesterday because they had a May the 4th event at my daughter's school. And I was wearing my R2D2 earrings, and my daughter's like,
cool.
He's the one that I got to control at Comic-Con. I'm like, yes, he is. Because one of the cosplay groups let her run the controls on R2, and she thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah, the local 501st had a full-size droid.
Which thing was that?
Oh, that was Monroe Pops Fest.
Got it. Awesome.
It's a pretty small one, but it's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, the local 501st was like, do you want to drive it? She's like, oh,
yes.
Wow. That's so special.
I'm like, can I? Because after she has a turn, can I do it?
That's amazing.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was so cool. And I mean, that was 6 months ago, and she's still talking about it.
Wow.
I would be.
Well, yeah.
So Scales Sivens at Scales20 on Twitter wanted to ask, what is your favorite Hera quote?
We have hope. Hope that things will get better. And they will. Boom.
Love that.
I like it.
That got me through the pandemic. I'll tell you that much. Definitely.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think watching Star Wars in total, that and and being able to come here and have people to talk to over Twitter and Zoom, and we were doing these interviews and everything. I think that's what got me through. Otherwise, I'd have been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So
knowing all of the stuff that I went through in 2020, that's the only reason I'm still
standing. Yeah,
not on a permanent grippy sock vacation.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
All right, so Vanessa, we're at a stage in our show where a lot of times we've asked, we've taken our guest into a quiz. like we told you pre-show.
Okay.
But tonight we're just going to ask you a silly question.
Excellent.
So now you can be as silly or serious as this as you would like to be. It's totally up to you.
Huh?
So, Vanessa Marshall, what do you think about when you're alone in a car?
I wish I could fly.
Oh yeah. I can only imagine with the traffic out there.
Yeah, well, and my dad's a pilot also, and I just always imagine like my dad could actually fly out of this situation. And then of course Hera has that history, so sometimes it's hard not to imagine like, oh man, if only this were the ghost.
He'd be the greatest fighter pilot ever.
Oh, second only to Han Solo, right?
There you go.
Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for being on our show today. Where can our listeners go to find out more about you and some of your upcoming works?
Yes, absolutely. Please come say hello at Vanessa Marshall 1138 on Instagram, at Van Marshall on Twitter. And there's a Vanessa Marshall fan page on Facebook that you're more than welcome to join. I'm also on Twitch with the same handle as Instagram, Vanessa Marshall 1138. And yeah, I would love for people to come join this Metal Gear Solid event. If you're a Metal Gear Solid fan, July 15th, that's at MGS Con. You can get tickets there and join us virtually and come play games with us. And let's all just make a commitment to have fun and pay it forward and do the right thing and lift everybody up. I feel like that is just what we all get to do since we made it through such a very dark period, so isolated. And I'm deeply grateful for my Star Wars family. And obviously Metal Gear Solid is a different fandom, but the spirit of love and unity and inclusivity and all the things that draw me to the Star Wars fandom also exist in that franchise. And if you follow me, I will post there about future events as well. I'm hoping to repeat this kind of fan experience for Overwatch, Fortnite, Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat. Like again, it's just let's play, let's have fun, and let's do it for a good cause. And so come play with me.
That'd be cool. Nice.
We will definitely link all of your socials so that people
Oh,
can figure it
wonderful.
out,
Thank
because that
you.
sounds like so much fun too. Like
It really
Yeah,
does.
it's good. You know what? It's a great hang, and I'm just so deeply grateful to be a part of it. I was approached with the opportunity, and I just leapt at it because I feel like it's what matters right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we want to remind you that subscribing is the single most important thing that you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests like Vanessa Marshall here today to have these fun chats and give you entertaining moments to listen to. So please subscribe. It helps out way more than we can ever really tell you. And check out Vanessa's work on all her socials, but make sure that you click the link and you go to that MGS Con and check out what's going on there. That's for a good cause, and let's help each other out. That's really the best thing that we can do is to help one another. So, but if for whatever reason you are not happy with the content of our show today, please feel free to lodge a complaint with the head of our complaint department. That, of course, is the droid Chopper from Star Wars Rebels. Sure, we don't entirely understand what he's saying most of the time, but given his penchant for war crimes, we would rather not be on his bad side. So submit an electronic copy of your complaint form. Droids make things so convenient, really. And just remember that we will be at his mercy. We're just thankful that Chopper also has a sense of humor and that we at times can be funny. We know that's debatable, but we'd like to think that we can be. Maybe he'll let us off with a warning.
Well, thanks again, Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa.
it was great. Thank you.
So wonderful. I'm so grateful that we finally got to meet up.
Likewise.
And we will meet again. And if we're ever in the same city or near any cons together, let's all hang out.
Yeah,
I
Sounds
love
good.
All right, guys, that's going to finish it for today on the FSF podcast. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF podcast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF Podcast. Or go to www.fsfpodcast.com and click on the Contact Me link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.
Copyright 2023 FSF Podcast.
Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF Podcast. The views expressed by the guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpodcast.com. Original music by Jordan Michaels.